Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to the attic. It's time for another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from an anonymous caller. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Hey Lloyd, I am a physically and mentally out elder um, with a very sore throat, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to send this. Feel free to use it for your channel because I've got native inbuilt voice changing technology, so I thought it was a good opportunity. Um, I, I'm reaching a point where it's becoming very hard for me to do anything on a congregational level and to maintain appearances. And I'm not really yet ready to totally uh, blow my cover slash blow up my life at this exact moment. But I have thought, because I've got a public talk coming up in a few weeks, and I've been really, really struggling to prepare it. I got to pick the outline, and so I've picked one that is kind of benign. It's not like I have to talk about 1919 or something like that. It's just a case of talking about the family. But um, even so, I am really, really, really struggling to just be able to even stomach the idea of any of it. It's gonna be really hard, and I feel like I have to do it in order to again not blow my cover. And the thought occurred that it would be just an epic way to go to just take this talk down a path of subtle apostasy until the point of very blatant apostasy, like build upon a theme and explain really clearly some fundamental issues with um, watchtower theology. And in doing that, now again, I'm not going to do that this time. With the thought occurred, I was toying around with the idea, and I kind of loved it because I was like, I can see myself doing that, but I can't see myself doing it in a few weeks' time because I need more time. And so I was thinking that maybe for the next round of talks, I might pick an outline around the theme of something to do with like the truth, or something with the phrase "truth" in the talk title, and then use that to predicate this building out of an apostate message. Now, I am conflicted on that, and I kind of want some feedback on it, and in general, because uh, I'm not at all a fan of, like, the idea of Kingdom Hall crashing or a convention crashing or anything like that. And this borders on that. And I, I, I obviously have control over what I would say. And so I can make it very clear that this is coming from a place of love, and it would give me an opportunity to clearly articulate some of the basic fundamental reasons beyond the benign announcement that they will otherwise get. But I just wanted some thoughts on that as a concept, and perhaps how to best go about it.
Wow, what a call! So, thank you, PIMO Elder, physically and mentally out Elder, for leaving that message. And it sounds like you had a companion there, someone made a few cameos, which really kind of emphasizes more than anything, I think, the importance of extracting yourself from this organization. I mean, it's one thing when you have to stomach, talking the talk and pretending to be someone you're not, but it's a whole other ball game, isn't it? When you have to raise another human being and convince them to believe things that you can't, or you can no longer believe yourself. So I really do feel for your predicament. I'm sure it's very complicated. perhaps with your partner. And yes, I can only imagine it's an extremely difficult situation to be in as an awakened elder. You are sort of expected by your family, by your community, to have this role of authority. If you step down as an elder, automatically tongues start wagging and it's assumed that you've done something terribly wrong. So you're in this kind of catch-22 situation, and I can, again, really sympathize with your situation. I do think it's an interesting idea to go out with a bang, as you're describing. Perhaps not within the next few weeks. Like you say, you probably should be giving yourself more time. And I actually think that when it comes to leaving the organization, whether you're an elder or whether you're just an ordinary rank and file member, you should always, always take your time and make sure that your exit strategy is very well thought out. Because no matter what the situation, you're going to hit this kind of brick wall of pain, of shunning, when you do finally break free. And with that in mind, you want your exit to be as smooth as it possibly can be. So if there's something that you can do now to make things easier, then you should absolutely be doing it. And so that's why it's very important that you do things at your own pace. With all that said, I agree with you that Kingdom Hall crashing and assembly crashing is really counterproductive. I've taken a lot of flack on this channel over the years. Some ex-Jehovah's Witnesses genuinely hate me for speaking out about this, but I just feel as though living up to the stereotype of the angry, disrespectful apostate who can't even let people worship in peace, I just don't see how that helps our cause one little bit. However, I have seen more or less what you're describing, where an elder decides that he can no longer continue and decides to leave by giving a very well thought out talk where he's essentially lining up his arguments, and it's only in, say, it would need to be like the last 5 minutes, I would suggest. In the last 5 minutes, it becomes obvious that this is not a normal talk, that this is in fact a farewell, and this is the elder explaining why the truth isn't really the truth, and therefore he can't go on pretending to believe in it. And I've seen that done before, and I actually believe that if it's executed correctly and respectfully, or as respectfully as possible, I think it can potentially sow many seeds in a congregation. And I also think that when you have a controlling organization like Jehovah's Witnesses, where they literally do not allow anyone to think differently, elders aren't allowed to think differently, rank and file aren't allowed to think differently, the only ones who are entitled to an opinion are the governing body, I feel as though they should almost expect this sort of thing to happen, where the pressure builds and it just becomes necessary for an elder to warn his congregation, over which he has taken some degree of responsibility. I feel it's almost incumbent in some situations for elders to stand up and, with great bravery, which it must take, say, this is wrong. What we're being asked to do is wrong. And you're not going to see me on this platform anymore, but here are the reasons why. And I'm still the same person that you all know and that you've all been seeing week in, week out. Nothing has changed. I'm just taking a conscientious stand against something I know to be wrong. Because the alternative, as we all know, is that you just immediately get shunned. It's announced at the Kingdom Hall, so and so is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and nobody has a clue what the reason is, you know? Everyone's just assuming, again, the very worst. But if you are actually on the platform and you're able to very subtly, very delicately kind of navigate your way through like 2/3 of this talk, again, just building the blocks of the finale, and then in the last 5 or 10 minutes, just lay it all out there, then it really deprives the kind of the gossip mongers of any opportunity to paint you as this terrible, terrible person, because you're letting everybody know at the same time what your real reasons are. So it's definitely something to keep on thinking about. Again, it needs to be done in a well-worded, respectful way, which I think you already know. And I also think you're absolutely right to take your time and not rush into it, and just make sure everything's lined up as well as it can be ahead of your exit. But I do admire your bravery, even in just leaving this voicemail with your voice disguised. Yeah, I admire you, mate, and I wish you the very, very best. I hope you're able to get out. It will be interesting to talk to you kind of on the other side and see how things pan out, maybe as an interview on the channel. But first things first, look after yourself, look after your loved ones. It sounds like you have a precious little one whose future is very much in your hands, and you have an opportunity to write a new chapter for them and to make sure that your family can break free of an extremely toxic group. And if you can do it by going out with a bit of a bang, then why not? And I wish you all of the very best in whatever it is that you have planned, so long as it's, again, done in a respectful, responsible way, which I'm sure it would be. So thank you so much for this voicemail. If you would like to leave a voicemail, the thing to do is go to speakpipe.com/Cedars, remembering to indicate clearly if you don't want me to broadcast your message on this channel. But that's all we have time for. Thanks so much for watching.